Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 5 of the anime series Ousama Game, the animation, or King's Game, the animation. And this episode is pretty much exclusively a flashback episode. Now, I am pretty outspoken as having said the flashback segments of this show have been what were my favorite segments. The most emotional, the most visceral, the most, grabbing you by the lapels, pulling you in, and being compelling and shocking and all that kind of stuff, such like that. And I'm very happy to say that for an episode that was exclusively set within a flashback, no, it's all fucking stupid. It's everyone in the past is just as fucking stupid as the modern day. There's no worry or doubts about that anymore. Where the fuck did Ria get a stun gun? And why, she doesn't like what Nobuaki's telling her, and vice versa, that he's not as receptive to this joshing, this facade she's putting on that, oh, I must be the king. I'm the king. I said I was the king. Well, you're going to have to kill me. Like, she's challenging Nobuaki, and I don't know where the hell she's getting off on this, and so, like, he's not receptive, and she suddenly pulls out a fucking stun gun and stuns him. And he's, like, fucking fine, like, unaffected, practically. He just sort of, I got a stomachache, oh no. What the fuck? I don't know. Explain it to me, Lucy. I don't know. I don't get it. And the whole aspect, like, we left off in the last episode, she was calling him stupid for Nami's death. And, like, her whole point was, oh, well, she didn't have to die, but she chose to, or some shit like that. Like, oh, we must honor Nami for her sacrifice. And I still call bullshit. She's fucking blind. Like, she's feeling around town. Like, she gets halfway across the city to the beach and then supposedly walks into the water after having made, like, 2 phone calls or something. And then talked to Nobuaki and all this shit. And, like, for how long it takes him to track her down, he couldn't have caught up to her. He couldn't have found her along the way. No, she somehow made her way from, like, a riverside to the beach. Maybe she followed the sounds of the water. Newly blinded, by the way, allegedly. But she found her way there, and she walked into the water, and there was no hide nor hair of her in existence at all. No body, no corpse. She must have gone straight down to the bottom, and that was the last we ever saw of Nami, whatever. What the fuck? So, of course, we pick up, as I say, with Ria stunning, Nobuaki, or at least attempting to. It didn't have any fucking effect on him. And then the whole shitstorm ensues with, apparently you can't do anything unnecessary in the King's Game for the next, 24 hours, something like that. And what do they mean by unnecessary? Well, shed a tear. If you shed a tear, you're shedding your life away. If you cry, you die. And, it takes them, like, the first, half dozen more people who die randomly and just, they combust or their, head and limbs flops off their bodies. They're dismembered, immolated, whatever, all this fucked up shit. Like, it's just happening all of a sudden. And this is what gets, Nobuaki's mind jogged and like, oh, well, maybe we can't cry because everyone I've talked to on the phone is crying and they're dead. And, heart attacks here, dismemberment there, all this good stuff. Hannibal Lecter is smiling somewhere, wherever he is, And I'm just like, what the fuck? But we actually, at least they did answer my question, my big overhanging question from the previous episode. How in the fucking bloody hell did Nobuaki know about this 30 years past town where this all originated, whatever like that? Did he do the research? Did he figure it out? How much time even passed? I mean, I don't care enough to go back over the last 4 episodes to try to figure out how long it took, in between his being at this school where this happened originally to his being in the school he's in now that he transferred into and the King's Game followed him. I don't know how much time transpired in between those 2 events. If anyone wants to, jog my memory, feel free to do so in the comments. but like I had thought maybe he looked into it or something. You know, I was like, why don't we know this? How does he fucking know this? And in the modern day, he's going to this town where this allegedly originated 30 years ago, whatever. So he gets that information via this flashback from his pal Yosuke. And Yosuke, you know, it's awesome. He's actually, why weren't we fucking following him? Well, because he's dead. That's why we weren't following him. But we should have been following him because he was the only one actually taking some fucking initiative to try to figure this shit out for once and for all. And so he does some digging. He figures the shit out. But he cries because people are dying. And so, of course, no more Yosuke. Say goodbye to Yosuke. And it's, you know, they try to tug at the heartstrings because he was trying to protect Kaori, this girl. And he makes Nobuaki promise if anything happens to him, he'll protect her and whatever like that. And, ooh, wow. Gee, golly gee willikers. How heartwarming. And so, of course, he fucking dies, but he's the one who sent the information to Nobuaki. And he's planning on, in this flashback, mind you, he's planning on going to this town. Did he ever make it there? Probably not, because that's where he's going in the modern segment of the show, as we saw last week. There were no modern segments in this episode, so they're still on that journey, him, Kenta, and the other chick. So, you know, big whoop. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if there's any actual hope of finding out what or whom the king is or anything like that. We'll see. But, you know, of course, because Yosuke dies, then it's like the absurdity here, just, I don't even know where to begin with this. So he told his buddy, Marty McFly, the Marty McFly looking kid whose name escapes me, that he's going to go to this town. And, like, he's just sort of sitting, like, I thought maybe he was at a bus stop or something, but somebody comes up from behind and clocks him over the head with, like, a pipe or a bat or some shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You don't get any sense of the passage of time. Because it's supposed to be later. Oh, he had a change of clothes. So that's how you know it's sometime later. But he just got off the phone in the previous scene with Kaori, telling her, assuring her that Yosuke was okay, even though we know Yosuke died, and he knows Yosuke died. She was trying to call him because she apparently was enamored with him, wanted to confess her love for him. Very much he wanted to confess his love for her as well, yada yada, whatever, you know. But apparently it's Kaori going after Nobuaki now, blaming him, calling him the king, because he's letting people die left and right. He's letting people die. And even going so far as to lie to her that Yosuke was okay when he knew fairly well that no, he wasn't. How did she fucking find out? You know, he told her, keep off the phone so you don't get emotional, so you don't cry. He didn't tell her not to cry, I don't think. But that was the gist of it. Don't, you know, open your phone lines and talk to anybody, because if you do, you know, you're going to cry, you're going to die. And so she's going to blame him. Like, what the fuck? Everybody's got a bone to pick with Nobuaki. He's like innocent victim here. He's a victim of circumstance, to call back on Three Stooges. And I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. So she's gonna try to kill him, and you know that doesn't go to plan, obviously. Because he confesses, oh, but no, you know, it was Yosuke who helped me find this information. We're going to be able to beat the king, and he actually loved you. And then he's shocked. He reveals all this to her, gets her emotional, and then he's shocked that he got her emotional. And then she died. She died. Oh, no, she had a heart attack. Because against the rules, to do something unnecessary, to cry, she had a heart attack. So, yeah. And then as he's, like, laying there, she just died. And, like, a message comes in on her phone, her message of punishment from the king. Somebody, we don't see whom it is. I'm assuming it's Marty McFly. You know, they're trying to make you think, oh, it's probably, like, Rhea or something like that, who's been following him or whatever. But it's probably something very innocuous, like, oh, it's Marty McFly, came and found him. and whatever, because he knew where he was going to be going. He said that just before he got clocked over the head with the bat or whatever it was, that he told his buddy where he was going next. He was going to go to this 30 years old town where this all originated. So it's probably somebody coming to help him rather than harm him. And he's just shocked, and all we see is a hand pick up, Kaori's phone and see the message that she's dead. So, I mean, she's laying right there, but we got to check the message to be sure. She just died, but unless we see it in print, we can't believe it. So that's this episode. That's this fucking episode in a nutshell. And God, this show is so fucking stupid. It just sucks so hard. It's like, it was laughable. I mean, as soon as you are introduced to Yosuke and Kaori, and they're standing outside like a 7-Eleven or whatever it is, convenience store, and he's like, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to do whatever I can to protect you, baby. But I mean, not baby, because they can't confess their love. That's got to be the hook. That's got to be what gets you engrossed. That's got to be what affects you emotionally and grows rapport from viewer to character, which failed fucking miserably. And, I knew, these two are fucking dead. Don't get used to them. It's a flashback anyway. We know everyone dies. But I have contended that even though it's a flashback and we know everyone but Nobuaki dies, or at least seemingly, because I still hold the suspicion that either Ria or Nami is still out there somewhere, maybe. But even knowing that, they still have been able to be engrossing in, the last couple of episodes. The musical aspiring kid who wanted to be a singer, musician, whatever it was, that was really tense and such like that. So they can make it interesting. They can engross you. They can captivate you. But everything else about this is like fan fiction level nonsense. And it really shows. It really has shown, especially in the modern segments of the show, as I've said. But this whole episode was a flashback. And people are just as fucking stupid, just as retarded as the modern segment characters have been shown to be. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. What you thought of this particular episode of Ousama Game, the animation? Episode 5, King's Game, the animation. Did you love it? Was it awesome? Did it engross you? Or did it fail you on every conceivable level, like it did for me? I still want to know where the fuck Ria got the stun gun. Where she gets off stunning Nobuaki at the beginning of the episode. It's like one of the first things that happens. I'm sitting there, I'm just sort of watching. I'm like, what? Whoa, where'd that come from? Is she only carrying that now because of the King's Game, or is that something she's had for a while? She must have had it for a while, because we find out very horrifyingly, that her biological father sexually assaulted her. So she's fucked up in the head. And that seems to be the penchant with characters in this show. We'll give them any excuse to be fucked up, and oh my god, are they going to be all kinds of fucked up. They're going to be bat shit insane. Gwat shit? Whole new genre. Gwat shit insane. That's this show in a nutshell. So I guess I'll see you for the next one. Until next time, catch y'all later. Peace.